"Clean up and get out, you high school grad," barks Martin, the company's second CEO, as he dumps the contents of a water bottle onto my laptop. He's been harassing employees with low academic credentials, and I've had enough. The constant mistreatment, especially when I was banished to the storage room for work, has pushed me to my limit. Today is the final straw. It's time to leave this toxic workplace. I'll delete the data and clean up, just as he orders. I tell Simon, "I'm the CEO, don't keep me waiting." A few days later, Martin reaches out to me on the phone. Apparently, he's in trouble. Seizing the moment, I team up with the company's founder, who happens to be with me, and start scheming revenge. This phone call marks the beginning of the end for Martin, who would soon face a reckoning for his actions. I'm Simon Woods, a 55-year-old with a passion for baking sweets on my days off. My specialty is strawberry shortcake. Baking is my therapy. It distracts me when I'm stressed and gives me a chance to show off my cakes at friends' birthday parties. "Simon, your baking skills are top-notch. These taste like they're from a professional bakery," my friends often say, and it never fails to make me happy. I graduated high school and started working at a confectionery company that prides itself on using minimal additives and promoting health. A few years ago, I was in product development, utilizing my baking skills every day. Now I'm stuck in the IT department because Martin doesn't like employees with lower academic backgrounds. He's a heavy-set man in his 60s and is hell-bent on building an elite team, shunning anyone without a college degree. He shifts people he deems unworthy to unsuitable departments, hoping they'll quit. He has a way of making a big deal out of anyone's mistakes, pointing them out for everyone to see, and then pushing them out of the company. I've managed so far, thanks to some mighty knowledge from my parents, but many others have left under his unfair tactics. People with low education don't belong in this company. I recommend those who have no degrees to quit before you embarrass yourselves, he once declared at his inauguration party, showing just how little he cares about his employees. Unlike the founder, his discriminatory attitude has been driving many to leave. I'm not fond of him either. I've been hoping he'll realize the error of his ways someday. As the summer's heat intensifies, I dread working in the ID department. My office is a stuffy, windowless storage room filled with unused office equipment and no air conditioning. "Good morning," I say out of habit as I walk in, but it's pointless since there's no one but me working in the storage room. I sigh, looking around the cluttered room as I start my day. The lack of air conditioning makes the room stifling, filled with hot, stuffy air. It's bearable now, but once summer hits full force, it'll be a recipe for heat stroke. Feeling the discomfort, I settle at a desk tucked into the corner and start working. Ever since Martin took over, things have gone downhill. I mutter to myself as I boot up my laptop and get to work on my tasks in my lonely ID department. I've been working in this cramped space for a few months now. One day, I came in to find that my desk and computer had been moved out of the product development office without any notice. The reason? Martin has no interest in anyone he doesn't consider top-tier talent. He's eager to push out anyone without a college degree, but outright firing us would tarnish the company's reputation. So he's been employing all sorts of petty harassment, hoping we'll quit on our own. I'm a high school dropout, so Martin called me incompetent and told me to get lost. I don't think I can stay here much longer. I'm thinking of quitting too. It was better when the founder was in charge. These days, this is what my colleagues are saying while they work. Honestly, I think Martin is a terrible person and shouldn't be running this company. Despite that, his friendly facade has fooled the founder, leading to his ascent as CEO. I feel a deep loyalty to the company that has given me so much, but his antics make staying difficult. If this continues, I'll have to think about changing jobs. In that case, I should contact the founder, whom I know well enough to seek help. For now, I tell myself to think about the details later and focus on my work, ensuring the company's time management system runs smoothly. Our flexible work hours accommodate various lifestyles, requiring careful monitoring. Some people start their day at 9 o'clock a.m. and work until 5 o'clock p.m., while others clock in at noon and work late into the night. There are even folks who only come in during the late hours. This makes our time management system pretty complex. If I don't keep a close eye on it, we're in for a world of trouble. When things go wrong, there are those who can't wake up early due to health reasons and others who find they think more clearly and work better at night. I don't want to cut corners and let these people down. Sure, there are always people who criticize those who can't follow a typical work schedule, but I believe that if someone's situation is due to their health or other valid reasons, it's only fair to accommodate them instead of forcing everyone into a one-size-fits-all workday. It's better to help them perform at their best. As I'm immersed in my work, Martin suddenly appears on his rounds. "Hey there, high school grad, how's it going?" He sneers as he walks into the storage room, glancing around with a smirk on his face. "This place is as depressing as ever," he mutters. "But hey, it's a fitting environment for someone like you. Even a low-skilled worker can focus here without distractions." "Yeah, thanks," I reply, knowing the room isn't comfortable at all with no air conditioning or windows, but at least it's quiet. It's not worth engaging with him, so I aim to end the conversation quickly. I give only the minimum necessary response, but he doesn't seem to be leaving anytime soon. Honestly, people like you should just quit already. This company can't afford to waste resources on useless employees. I want to replace you with more capable workers, he says, clearly convinced that anyone without a college degree is incompetent. He never bothers to actually look at our work before making such sweeping judgments. Employees he's driven out or those who are about to leave, whether they're high school grads or dropouts, have all worked alongside college graduates for years, doing just fine. His inability to see this is mind-boggling, especially for someone in his position. Undereducated people should work harder to match their betters. They need to do several times the work. Sometimes we have to isolate them so they don't drag others down. Being a leader is tough, you know. I have to play the bad guy for the sake of the company, he continues, inching closer to my desk and leaning over, peering at my computer screen while continuing his rant. "Maybe you don't even have time to chat. Look at you busting your butt on a job anyone could do. Guess that's what you get with low education, huh? If I were you, I'd be too embarrassed to show my face. Just stay home if you can't keep up. Don't drag others down." He seems to interpret my silence as agreement. His reflection on my shiny screen shows him making a dramatic shrug. I glare at him, but he doesn't notice. Then he spots my water bottle on the desk, which I brought from home to stay hydrated in this hot room. Without warning, he grabs my bottle, opens it, and pours the contents over my laptop. "Dealing with useless people is exhausting," he says, throwing the empty bottle at the screen, cracking it. "Just quit and go home. You're fired. It's an eyesore to see uneducated people roaming around in the office." The computer screen in front of me is now pitch black. "High school grads have no place here," he sneers, laughing as he walks out. "Go do farm work or factory jobs. Perfect for incompetent people like you," he adds, insulting other professions. Snapping back to reality, I check my laptop, but it's acting up. I can switch to another one and keep working, but honestly, I don't want to do any more work for this company. Staring at the ruined laptop, I know I've had enough. If he wants me gone, I'll leave, but not before deleting all the data and cleaning up my workspace. A few hours later, I report the incident to my department head, who sympathizes but can't change my mind. There's no way I'm working under such a hostile boss any longer. Over the next few days, I complete the resignation process and use up my remaining vacation days. Truth is, I just want to be out of here. I say, away. But my colleagues insist on a farewell party, which I deeply appreciate. I always thought we'd work together until retirement, but things changed so much after Martin became CEO. No wonder you want to leave. One of my colleagues says, "Let us know when you find your next job. Take care, okay." I tear up when they hand me a bouquet with such kind words. I strongly wish them the best in their future paths. After using up my vacation days, I finally quit and spend some time relaxing at home. I had lived to work for a long time, so I've saved enough to take it easy for a while. Still, I'll need to start looking for a new job. But what do I want to do next at my age? Options are limited, and I don't want to end up with another boss like Martin. Maybe I should start a cafe and turn my baking hobby into a career. For the next few days, I enjoy baking while pondering my next move. Then I get a call from an old acquaintance inviting me to a meeting. The person I meet is Jay, the former CEO of my old company. Now 70, he's still sharp and working as a consultant at the company. "Long time no see, Jay," I say. "Yes, indeed. How have you been?" he replies, stretching his arm for a handshake. His grip is strong and reassuring for someone his age. "Oh, just working quietly in the corner of the company, really. I don't think you need to lie to me," he says, his gaze sharp, just like when he was still in charge. It's clear he already knows what has happened. I sit down on a chair and resign myself to telling him everything. When I finish my hour-long story, he looks furious as he speaks. "So it's true. I've heard rumors while keeping tabs on the company. I can't believe Martin turned out like this. I thought he could handle the company, but I was wrong." He sighs deeply, looking genuinely apologetic. "I'm really sorry. Please forgive me." Jay looks deeply regretful. "You'd been with the company from the beginning, back when I was trying to build it with customer-first principles rather than just chasing profits. You were the only one who joined me then. Thanks to you, I learned the responsibility of managing people's lives and became more cautious in business." I'm at a loss for words. I had joined his company partly because I was inspired by his dedication and partly to avoid further education. I feel I don't deserve such gratitude. Please don't exaggerate. All I did was help you with some systems early on. You're as humble and diligent as ever. He smiles warmly, making me feel melancholic. "Don't worry about me, Jay. You're not to blame." I thought Martin seemed promising at first, too. Everyone was fooled. It wasn't until his first speech that we realized how wrong we were. But by then it was too late, I say, feeling a bit better. Right now, I'm trying to help the employees Martin fired find new jobs. They shouldn't suffer because of his mistakes. Jay responds, "Well, I had no idea you were doing that. I've been worried about the employees who were let go or resigned, but knowing you're helping them puts me at ease. After all, the person who should be a leader has to be someone like him," I say. I wish he'd go back to being the CEO, but he seems to sense my thoughts and shakes his head. I considered it, but this company was close to bankruptcy not too long ago. I can't leave now. Besides, Martin won't let me take over anyway. Jay explains. You're right. He's too determined to shape the company to his own ideals. I'm sure he won't let go of it no matter what, I say. We both let out heavy sighs, but sharing the burden makes me feel lighter. It's always better to talk things through rather than keep them bottled up, Jay remarks. After a moment of silence, Jay asks, "So what's your plan now?" I think for a moment and tell him what I've come up with. In the last few days, I've saved up a bit, so I'm thinking of finding a cheap place and opening a cafe somewhere. I love baking, so I might sell cakes and take it easy. That sounds fun. You've always been good at that. Do you have a specific place in mind? Jay asks. I'll figure it out as I go, I reply honestly. Just as I'm about to continue our conversation, my phone starts ringing. I've forgotten to put it on silent. Excuse me, I apologize and reach for my phone, but freeze when I see it's from Martin. Jay notices my reaction and asks, "Something wrong?" "No, it's just Martin. I'll ignore it for now. I'd rather talk to you, I say. But Jay holds out his hand to me and says, "Let me take it. My guess is that he's in trouble now. Then maybe you can get even with him." Curious and trusting him, I hand over my phone. Jay answers and puts it on speaker. "Simon, you know I'm the CEO. Don't keep me waiting." Martin's angry voice booms through the room. People don't change in just a few days, so I expect him to be his usual overbearing self. Still, his tone is as annoying as ever, I think to myself. Then Jay calmly responds, "I apologize. He's busy with something." Hearing his voice, Martin is clearly thrown off. "Is this Jay?" he asks, followed by a loud thud. He must have bumped into something in his panic. A few seconds later, I hear him groan. Jay, unfazed, continues, "Actually, we work together now." "What? Is that true?" Martin asks, genuinely shocked. Despite this, he still maintains a respectful tone with Jay. In reality, his claim is a complete lie. I have no idea what he's up to, but he gives me a reassuring wink. Is he doing this for my sake? I wonder. "Simon is very talented. I wanted him to work with me, so when I heard he left your company, I reached out immediately. You've lost a valuable employee, you know," Jay says. I expect Martin to refute that, but instead he says, "You might be right." His voice coming through the speakerphone is tinged with regret. "Damn it, if I'd known this would happen, I wouldn't have let him go." He mutters loud enough for us to hear. It feels a bit like he's dropping. But Jay keeps talking as if nothing is amiss. When you're someone who's been the leader of a company, you may have more guts than most people. Was there a problem or something? Martin explains that my departure and the deletion of certain data have caused major disruptions. Their systems are down, and they have no idea how many employees are doing what at what time. This has affected the payroll and tracking of employee activities. The productivity is gradually worsening due to the inconvenience of having to coordinate with other employees. They've tried to rebuild the systems with outside help, but everyone who knows Martin's reputation has refused to work with him. It's truly a self-inflicted situation. "That sounds tough," Jay comments. "Simon's here, so why don't you talk to him?" Jay hands me the phone, indicating that he wants me to handle the situation from here on. "Whatever decision you make, you should have a proper discussion with him," Jay advises. "He knows I'm here, so I'm sure he won't say anything too extreme." I take a deep breath and speak into the phone. "This is Simon. What do you need?" "Oh, man, help me out. I was wrong to treat you badly. I see now how valuable you were. Please come to the office right away. No, please come back to work for me again. I had no idea you developed the systems." Martin pleads desperately. His plea is a stark contrast to the guy I knew. Things must be really bad, I think to myself, but I've already made up my mind. I'm not your employee anymore. Solve your problems on your own. "Don't you care about the company you worked for all those years?" Martin asks. "It's not that I don't care. I was attached to that company and would have continued to work there until retirement if Martin hadn't been appointed. The environment had become unbearable under his leadership. Honestly, I worry about the other employees, but I can't go back to that toxic environment. Don't call me again. I'm done. I have no intention of coming back," I reply firmly. Martin keeps trying to persuade me, but I shut him down. Finally, I end the call. Jay, who's been watching, asks, "Are you sure about this?" Yes, I have no regrets. Looking back, it's a wonder I stayed at that awful place for so long. Saying what I had to say to Martin has lifted a weight off my shoulders. After I left, the company's systems completely crashed, making it impossible for them to operate normally. All the data the employees registered in the attendance management system was also lost. It would have taken quite a long time to restore it completely, but the company couldn't keep afloat until then and went to pieces. Martin's company went under exactly a year after I left. I tell Jay. 2 years after leaving the company, I'm an owner of a cozy cafe in a small town now. It's known for my delicious cakes and slowly gaining popularity. My only problem is that we're short-staffed with more customers coming from out of town. I want to beef up our team to keep up. Just when I'm thinking about this, a former colleague pops in. I heard about your shop and had to check it out. Nice place you got here. I hope I can find a job at a place like this next. He hasn't landed a new job yet and is doing odd jobs here and there to get by. So I hire him on the spot. I was worried about his mental health, as Martin used to treat him terribly for being a high school dropout, but he seems to have weathered it all okay. He's been working hard, really helping me out. I can't let my staff outshine me as a boss, so I'm hustling every day too. Today, I'm off to visit my supplier to pick up some ingredients. It's a chance to chat with the local farmer and tweak our strawberry orders. The little details might seem mundane, but they matter to me. Making money is one thing, but in business, relationships matter just as much. If you don't take care of people, you won't have a good business, and you won't be serving good food. I leave the cafe in my staff's capable hands and head out. "Good morning, Simon," I greet enthusiastically. An old man who's been talking with the other workers in the yard approaches me. He's always smiling and talks in a sincere, friendly manner. He's in his 70s, so he leaves the actual care of the crops to the younger workers, but he's happy to chat and handle the business side of things. We catch up briefly before talking about the quality of this year's strawberries, but something else catches my eye. There's a guy lurking around, looking like he's trying to sneak off. The other workers stop him from leaving, but I wonder what's up with him. Then I learn something surprising. That guy is none other than Martin, the former CEO. "Oh, you know him?" the old man asks. "I suppose you want to catch up with him then." "Don't worry, I only know him a bit," I reply, playing it off. Admitting he used to be the CEO of the now bankrupt company I worked for would only make things uncomfortable for everyone. I wrap up the necessary conversation and head back to my shop. It's ironic seeing him there, given how he used to scoff at blue-collar work back in the day. It must be a very hard punishment for him. From then on, when I visit the farm, I occasionally run into him. Seeing him covered in mud, working hard, is a far cry from his days as a high and mighty CEO. He still avoids me and doesn't make any apologies, but he seems genuinely focused on his work. He diligently follows each instruction from his colleagues, completing one task at a time. Sometimes when he messes up and gets scolded, he looks like he's about to cry, just like a kid. But his coworkers seem like good people and tell me his skills might be rough now, but he'll get the hang of it. The more effort he puts in, the more it'll pay off. His past experience won't let him down. He must be struggling, but I hope he's changing for the better. Maybe one day he'll apologize for everything. I later learned that he had joined a company after being inspired by Jay, who was working hard as a salesperson decades ago. Maybe that's why he doesn't mind putting in the hard work and sweating it out. I've had my own share of changes too. With the cafe getting busier and adding more staff, I might have faced challenges starting a new venture in my late 50s, but with my employees' help, we're making it work. Every day is fulfilling as I get to serve customers, making the pastries I love in a much better environment. Sometimes Jay drops by and says, "I was worried when you quit, but you look so much happier now." It's nice to show him how well I'm doing, since he was always concerned about me. Being able to work in a place where I can be myself is the greatest happiness for me. "Boss, we got an order for a special cake. Someone's trying that out. Must have quite an appetite. It takes time to make, so let's all pitch in and get it done quickly," one of my staff members informs me. I immediately get to work on the order. These are the days I never had working under Martin. No matter how successful this cafe gets, I want to keep this wonderful atmosphere over chasing profits.